All right, so thank you so much, everybody, for coming again tonight. I'm so excited for what the Lord is set to do in our midst tonight, and I am so sure that none of us that has come here will definitely go back the same way we have come. I know that things are going to change. There's going to be light in the room. There is going to be more clarity. So I welcome you all to this MADOC workshop, goal setting and vision boarding. MADOC stands for Married Damsels of Christ, and it's just a group, as Tolulope already introduced us. It's a group of women who are passionate about serving the Lord and, leaving a legacy behind, either through our kids or our spouses or the communities that we belong to. And this is not the first time we are doing this. We usually try to keep this as a tradition every year. And we are so happy again to be able to do this together. So I'm sorry I'll not be able to look into the chat box, but I'm sure that our moderators will keep checking the chat box, and they can point my attention to, please, they know how to mute, and just unmute and let me know when I probably have to answer a question. So this is me, Dr. T, by the special grace of God. My goal for this session is to try to help us to turn chaos into clarity whenever we think about maybe setting goals or having a vision board and it seems to be so chaotic. By the grace of God, I hope that we will be able to leave this session at the end of the day having so much clarity for year 2025. So I will try to keep this session on track, and I will also try to ensure that everybody participates in the discussion. And of course, our Zoom etiquettes, we have to keep our microphone muted unless we are speaking. We can always use the raise hand button to be able to, signify if we want to speak. We can also use the chat box for questions so that we can maintain the flow. People will keep checking in. And of course, let's remember to be respectful and professional during the sessions. Thank you for joining from all over the world. I cannot start my session without talking about these amazing women. This group was founded officially in 2017, even though we had been together before 2017 for about 4 or 5 years. And as we mentioned, it's just the vision of this group is that we build a group of women who are godly, who are spirit-filled, who can empower one another. We started this journey when we were single sisters, and then we started getting married in 2016, up until recently, and the Lord has been expanding us on every side. And our mission is very simple: ensure that we're promoting personal growth. We're having I got kicked out. I'm so sorry about that. I do not know how that happened, but I will attempt to. Can somebody tell me where we probably stopped? If where I probably got kicked out of this event.
You're talking about MADOC.
Okay.
When the group started.
Oh, the Lord, sanctifies our network tonight.
There.
Okay, right here. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so I think I mentioned that our mission is just very plain and simple to ensure that we have personal growth and we are people who are growing in every sphere of our lives. And I want you to get to know us just briefly before I get into this. These are the admin that run the, basics of the group. They do the underground work. Myself, I'm in Nigeria. We have Temi, Tolu, Sheon, and Dr. Where they are the pillars of this group, trying to get everything up and running. And we have amazing members. This group is made up of, I think, 22 of us, right? We have Bisola, Stephanie, Dr. Wumi, Stella. These are very diverse and intelligent and amazing women. We also have Adiola, we have Titi, we have Dr. Yanu, amazing people. We have Olaide, Anu, we have Temitokbe, we have Omashola, we have Yetunde, and also have Olawumi, we have Toyin, we have Adeton, we have Bumi, and we have Yetunde again. And we have been together for a while. We have weathered all the storms. I think Tolu mentioned something about that earlier. But we're all women, but we're all women who are aspiring to grow. We are not women who want to stay in our comfort zone. We seek to sharpen one another, and that's the reason why we see us here. So stay tuned. I'm sure that somebody's going to drop our Instagram handle, all of our handles in the chat box. Stay tuned for more beautiful things that will be coming out next year, from this wonderful group. And one fun thing about us is that we like to have fun. We like to have fun. We celebrate the love that we have for one another. We do get-togethers, We do a lot of things, meetups here and there, just to ensure that we are constantly having fun, even as wives, as mothers, as sisters, as siblings. You get that? So, okay. I'm just going to jump right into what we're here to talk about today. Today, we're here to talk about vision boarding. It's a vision boarding workshop, but I want you to understand that you can't talk about vision boarding without first starting with goal setting. You have to first move from setting the goals, then into how can these goals be now strategically placed in a way that reminds you constantly about the goals you have set for the year. We are all familiar with goal setting. I am so sure about that. But it is something that's very, very important if we desire to grow personally and we have things we want to achieve. When we set goals, it's able to give us the direction, the motivation we need. It also gives us a sense of purpose, particularly when we set goals and we are able to achieve them. There is this joy within that comes. And we're probably all familiar with this SMART, goal setting. There are so many frameworks for setting goals. There's the BAG, bold, hairy, and ambitious goals. There are a ton of goal setting frameworks out there, but the most popular, I believe, has to be the SMART goal setting, which simply says that your goal has to be specific. You have to ensure that it is clearly defined and there has to be measurable outcomes. Now, when you set a specific goals, how can you truly measure if you are in line with the goal you have set? And then it has to be achievable because you don't want to feel overwhelmed. You don't want to set a goal that it takes you a whole year to even get to. The year is already gone, and then it has to be very, very relevant, to your development per time. How does this goal align to your own development? And then there has to be a time bound. We are doing this for 2025. It means that this is a vision we want to run with from the beginning of 2025 to the very end. That is our clear framework. Time frame. And so when we're making time bound, it's so easy to say, okay, for this month of January, these are things I want to achieve. And you are so specific and you put in metrics to help you measure these things. And you ensure that it is truly relevant to the things that, that are aligned with your own development. So I have a question for us, and I sincerely apologize that my polls did not come through. I want to see in the chat box, what goal setting habits do you have? Meaning that, do you set goals yearly? Do you rarely set goals? Have you never set goals? It's a safe space. We listen, we don't judge. Do you believe in goals? Even just put something in the chat box and let me know, let us know what your goal setting habit is. Is it a one-time thing? Do you set it at the beginning of the year and then you just set it for a whole year? Or do you set it quarterly? Or do you set it monthly? Or perhaps weekly, maybe daily, what are your goal setting habits? Yeah, I want to know. Nobody is responding. Want to know your goal setting habits, how do you set your goals? And even if you've never set goals before, it's fine. It's a safe space, as I mentioned. Yes, Lulu, really safe space. Yeah, Okoyemi says I set goals yearly and per month. So yearly and then monthly. I like that. Nobody ever set goals before. Is there anybody here, who has never set goals before? Yeah, I do one day at a time, mostly. Oof, my favorite song. Yes, one day at a time. Lord Jesus, that's all I'm asking of you. Mental goal setting, I love that, Olulokwe. Let's put the goals in our head, right? Badiri says, mine socks all up in my head and daily as it happens, right? I think Tolu and Badi are in the same space. Tolu and Badi. All right, allow me, since I said goals, but procrastination won't let me. Okay, my sister, we're all together. Anna says, I set goals yearly. After 2 months, I derail. Oh Lord, we receive grace for 2025. Abigail says, same here. Adeola says, I set goals, I set mine yearly. Thank you so much for letting us know. All up in my head, right? I know, all up in our head. Right here. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I like that. All right. Okay. And then I want to ensure that even as we're talking about this, remember that we are a community of believers, right? There has to be a biblical foundation for setting goals. And I want to help us to align our aspirations with the word of God. What does the Bible say about planning? Proverbs happens to be my best book in the Bible. I read it every now and then, right? And there is a lot of mention to planning in Proverbs. And particularly this Proverbs 16 verse 9 stands out for me that says that we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. So it's not about, oh, I set these goals, means that they are going to, it's going to translate into outcomes, right? We can make our plans, but eventually it is the Lord that determines our steps. But you see right there, there is a planning. There has to be a planning. And Habakkuk, one of the other famous scripture when it comes to goal setting, in chapter 2, verse 2 to 3 says, the Lord said, write my answer plainly on tablets so that a runner can carry the correct message to others. You see, like passing of baton from one person to another. This vision is for a future time, but the Lord says, write them down now so that it can be passed on. It says it describes the end and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. And you see that, it says it will not be delayed. It says even if it seems slow in coming, sometimes we may set goals, and that's why we don't have to beat ourselves up, Well, sometimes we set goals that we are not even able to achieve them. And it takes that courage to say that, okay, let me go back. Perhaps there's something I've done, or perhaps I have not set something realistic for myself, or something very achievable, something even relevant to my stage or my season of life currently. But one thing that stands out surely in that place is that the Lord says, write it down plainly. Don't complicate it. Don't make it complex. Don't sugarcoat it. Just make it as plain as it can get. I want to do X, Y, Z. Make it really plain. And so we see that the Bible is full. Apart from these two scriptures, there are a ton and dozens more of scriptures that talk about goal setting. The Bible is very, very intentional, and specifically speaks to us as believers that we have to make our plans. But when we make these plans, then what do? We have to bring them to the Lord to say, okay, Lord, these are the plans. Even before we even make the plans, we're even asking the Lord, what would you want me to do for you in 2025? It's not about this is what I want to do for myself. We're first asking the Lord. We're not making this, we're not like, receiving whatever He has for us. We're using them to make plans so that the Lord can actually determine our steps. So setting goals is very, very, very powerful. Now, how do we get started with setting goals and creating a vision board? We're going to jump right into it. And one of the very first things that I believe is very, very important is that there are several areas of interest when it comes to goal setting. I put just a couple here. Yours might extend beyond this, but it is up to you to look into your life and say, okay, right now, in this season or this phase of life I'm in, what area of interest is really, really important to me? Let me tell you guys something. When I first started setting goals, I was very much single back then. I think that was maybe in 2014, 2015. I read a book that changed my perspective about everything. The book is titled Goals by Brian Tracy. And when I read that book, I was like, okay. I mean, it got me really, I don't know, I think it got me intimidated. I'm like, this is a human being. This is a human being that, they are putting things down. They are getting things done. What am I doing with my life? And just from that, it just made me say, okay, how do I get this started? And I'm telling you guys that when I started, I didn't have all of these areas of interest. I just simply sat down. I wrote 10 most important things I want to achieve in 2014 or 2015, there about that time. I just put them down, like 1 to 10, just listed it as, made it as a list, right? And then that's how Brian Tracy taught me. And after I made the list, then Brian Tracy says that, okay, now go back and try to, just like use another color of pen to write, just right in front of it, where does this fit in? So for example, maybe I wrote that and my other book. Okay, yeah, perfect. I always come in my resources. That book, that same 2014, 2015 book is right here. And I'm just gonna check what I put in there. And for example, I put in something like, okay, this was for 2017. I said, okay, be a better Christian, go deeper in God, blah, blah, blah. And I put that spiritual. And I wrote something about like, okay, work smarter, publish more papers, do some research. I put that as career. That was the first way I got to know how to actually, even just writing the 10 most important things that I really want to get done in that year, and just like assigning them to areas of interest. So areas of interest are really, really important. And as we look at it now, because we're here to set goals, I want you to write, we definitely cannot touch on all the goals today, but I want you to write maybe 3. Let's write down 3 areas of interest that we are that matter to us in 2025. 3 areas of interest. Please let's go on. And once you are done, just put in the chat box, done. 3 areas of interest that you want to use to set your goals tonight. So tonight we're going to set goals on just 3 areas of interest, and then you can complete them, in your own personal space, because there is no way we can touch up on all of these things tonight. But just pick 3 areas of interest that matter to you right now and put it in the chat box once you are done. I hope you have your notebooks. I hope you have your sticky notes. I hope you have your cardboards. I hope you have your pen and everything that we are going to use to set these goals tonight. All right, somebody's already done. Okay, Tolulope, thank you. Tolulope is done. Just pick 3 out of everything we have right here and just like note it down. And we're going to go in a stepwise manner. Yours could be family. Okay, yes, thank you. Omolola says spiritual, financial, career. All right. So spiritual, career, health, perfect. Badiriwa. So just pick 3. Let's not get overwhelmed. We're not going to teach on everything tonight, but 3 is perfect. And then we're going to go in a stepwise manner. Thank you so much. Yeah, so if you put it here or just write it in your notebook, just ensure that you have it somewhere where you can see. Thank you. Okay, so I will move on. Yeah, so I hope you already answered this question. I wanted you to write your areas of interest. What are the areas that interest you for 2025 that you're looking forward to setting goals for? Just 3, at least topmost 3. Yeah, that's the right thing to say, topmost 3. Thank you. Bisola says spiritual, career, financial. Lulu says spiritual, health and fitness and career. And Abigail says done. All right. Thank you for doing that. Olaomi says spiritual, finance and career. Tolulope, spiritual, physical, marital. I love that. Thank you for picking those 3 areas. All right. And of course, I would just like to share briefly also, there is no teaching without a story, right? We taught the same workshop. Shout out to my co-anchor for last year, Adiola Delani. We taught this together last year. And when we were teaching this, I put together my own main goals for 2024. I'm like, okay, just to be able to share with the house, this is what I'm hoping to get done. I just touched up on all the areas, and I just like to share with us. Why am I sharing this with us? I'm just sharing with you that some of the things I wrote in here, I achieved a ton of them. Because I wrote them down, that was the first starting point to me actually running with the vision. So for spiritual, I was like, I wanted to have a time of prayer, set time of prayer. I wanted to practice gratitude, have my meditations, spiritual retreat and services. All of that was ticked. Every month it was ticked. For personal, I was like, I want to learn new skills, have some hobbies, read books. I said, embrace minimalism. So funny. But I'm reading this out so that if things are jumping out at you also, feel free to just put them down somewhere. Some things might jump out that they might not have jumped out. I mean, there's another goal setting workshop that is coming on Saturday for another professional network that I attend. And you may just want to take it a step further also by joining that particular workshop. And I'm telling you that the more of these sessions you attend, the more ideas you get, even the more clarity you experience for the goals you have to set. Some of the things I wrote down here, I didn't just start writing them in a day. There are things I've been writing over the years. And once something has become a routine, when you do something repeatedly, it becomes a habit. If it becomes a habit, I strike it off my list. It's already a part of me. It cannot go away anymore, right? So as I read out these things, if anything stands out to you, just note them down. And when we get to the goal setting section, you can also just, reflect on that and be like, okay, how can I expand this? Does it even align with whatever I have going on right now? Because I can't put all the examples of goals for each of these areas of interest right here, right? That would make us sleepy. Okay, so I was like, personal, I was going to embrace minimalism. Sleep and rest was really big on my list. Time management. And I said, write a book. I just write a book. I didn't even have the inkling that it was going to happen, but eventually this year, I did write that book. Family, I said I wanted to have date night with my spouse, have more intimacy, fun time out with the kids, quality time, a peaceful and organized home, go on vacation, teach my kids how to manage money, teach them, pray and read with them, and also have picnics. I didn't get everything done, but we had picnics. had picnics. I taught them how to manage money. There were some things that I were able to do, you understand? But I'm going to like pick out things here again and be like, okay, how can I expand on this in 2025? Therefore, financial, I was like, okay, I'm going to have an amount of savings. I'm going to budget. I'm going to invest. I'll do life insurance, have extra sources of income. I have debt. My debt has to be reduced. I mean, I did almost everything right there because I had a vision for myself. Okay. Oh, okay. Lolu said that a minimalist embracing. Sorry, guys. A minimalist embracing minimalism. Yes, because there is really no end to minimalism, right? Okay, then for health and wellness, I was like, oh, I'm going to increase my physical activity. And one way I usually do that is that, just logging the steps I take every day. I'm going to eat more fruits and vegetables, do a stress reducing activity every week, have regular checkups. Most of the things right there, I was able to achieve them. For my career goals, I said, oh, I'm going to learn the software tool. I learned Canva, right? I'll attend to networking activities. I'll apply for 3 jobs weekly. Then I was actually looking for a job. I was seeking job opportunities, or even, apply for a promotion. I was going to earn a professional certification. I did all the things I put right there. I wasn't running a business as at that time, but I just knew that because I'd been usually when I want to set my goals, sometimes it takes me like a whole month. Back then, from November, I would have started like, meeting the Lord to say, okay, Lord, thank you. I would have been, meeting the Lord and saying, okay, Lord, what do you have for me for next year? What do you want me to do? Speak to me. And because I know that these things take time, the Lord is not just going to speak to me everything in one day. Am I going to like be able to put everything down in one day? So I usually like to start in November. And then when ideas come, I just put them down, always having my book and just noting them down. So around that time, I've been having this idea that, a business was going to pop up, but I just did not even understand how it was going to happen. But I'm like, okay, since I'm having this, prompting, I'm just going to put it down there. And I'm telling you guys, I did start and register a business. I launched new products and a new service, all to the glory of God. For ministry, I put it right there because it was big on my heart to do community outreach, run a Bible study or prayer group, discipleship program, ministry growth, volunteer with the ministry. Everything I put right there, I was able to, touch base on everything in this year 2024. Relationships, I said, oh, we connect with old friends and make new friends. Oh, the old friends I connected with happen to even be on this phone call right now, right? And I was like, okay, conflict resolution. I really want to practice conflict resolution because I know myself. Social, I'm like, I want to expand my social circle. I just don't want to, because I can be so introverted. And I'm like, okay, I just don't want to remain right in my space. Is there a network I could join? Something that could help me networking with people outside of work. I did find a network, an amazing network, the Shanghai network to join. And it's so amazing. For service, I said I wanted to volunteer, do some form of mentorship, do an environmental initiative. That did not happen. Support a clause, yes, some of those things happened, right? And for this legacy, I was like, okay, the people that know me know that legacy is always very big in my heart. I was like, I want to begin writing a personal memoir. I don't know if I started, but I've been journaling a lot of things down, all in the bid of just keeping memories for my generation, right? And I was like, oh, I want to get started in a family history project to my parents and my siblings. I want to do a family recipe book. I bought a family recipe book, but I did not start it. I'm like, oh, I want to pass on these skills to my kids. I mean, like, as far as your mind can imagine, it's so important that we allow, for believers, as far as your mind can take it, put them down. Even if it doesn't happen now, it will definitely still happen sometime. I have a mentor who I remember clearly, like, she showed us one of our goal setting thing like some years ago. And she was like, oh, I put it right there that in so and so year, I want to win this grant. She wrote all these things. I want to get to this rank in my career, and I want to win this grant. And so like every time she goes for workshops and they tell them to set career goals, she keeps writing those things down. And because she keeps writing them down, she's holding herself accountable to be able to pursue them. She's not just sitting down somewhere and just praying and scabashing on these things, because faith without works is dead. Sisters and brothers, faith without works is dead. The Lord gives us this idea, but how do we translate them into outcomes? And because she said she kept working on them, Eventually, when the opportunity presented itself, I'm telling you guys, she won that award, even though she had to put in for it twice. So as far as your mind can imagine, I put this here to just like let you know that you may set goals, you may not be able to achieve some of them, but it will be such a disservice to ourselves if we don't dream big. I want you to dream big because our God is a big God. We cannot limit our God by asking for peanuts when He has greater things in store for us. All right, so I'm just going to move straight into a typical example of what it means to set a SMART goal. So for this person's goal is to say, oh, I want to enhance my understanding of the Bible, as I think that I picked it from my book, of the Bible and deepen my spiritual life. It's very, very specific. You see it right there. I put everything there. I want to know more and I want to grow in my spiritual life. So what can I do? What should I do to achieve this goal? How can I measure this goal? How will I be able to know that, okay, truly, I have finished this, I have achieved this goal, or I have started and I can see progress. So I'm like, to achieve this, I'll complete a structured Bible study course. I think that was on YouVersion, that includes daily readings and reflections. What are the small milestones? Because sometimes I will set these goals, I will set them for a whole year. And I like something that Pisola talked about, that I like to take it one day at a time. Yes, eventually we have to take it one day at a time. And taking it one day at a time means that we're setting small milestones. We can break these goals down into smaller pieces. How can it be broken down? So I said my course, I'm going to read them for just 30 minutes every day, making it feasible with my current schedule, because I cannot afford to do 1 hour every day. Because everybody is doing 2 hours or 10 hours doesn't mean that I have the ability to do 10 hours in my current season, right? So why do I want to work on this goal? Because there has to be a relevance, right? I want to work on this goal because it will strengthen my faith. It will also help me to have greater sense of purpose and peace inside. It will also help me to be able to share insights or teach other people effectively. So you see the relevance. I'm not just studying this, I'm not just setting this goal because the pastor in my church said this has to be a goal for 2025. I'm setting it because there is something there has to be a translation of this goal in my own life. Now, when do I want to achieve this goal? It has to be time bound. All right, I'm going to complete this course over the next 6 months. I'm going to start from 1st of January and I'm going to finish it 1st of July. It's just as simple as that. And this is the same thing we're going to apply to every goal-setting thing that we're going to do today. We have to break them down. If we just set them for a whole year, it will, or even the thought of it will overwhelm. If I didn't show you all this MART and obviously just the specifics, I mean, you can come from any angle definitely to try to break it down, but you have to break it down. It cannot be vague. It cannot be all, just say, oh, I want to grow in my spiritual life. You understand that? If you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat box and I think I'm popping in. All right, before we jump into all of those again, I want us to truly also understand our priorities and identify them. Whenever we are setting goals, we want to be able to first reflect on our values. What matters to you right now? Are you a mother of 4, or are you a mother of 2, or are you a single lady, or a single brother, or somebody who works, are you a banker, whatever you do? What matters to you right now? And how can you set goals that would truly define what you want to achieve in your life? Maybe for a banker, the person could say, oh, I want to get my MBA. You understand? But a banker saying, I want to, what can a banker not say? When a banker says something in the opposite direction, it's like two conflicting things, goals being set in opposite direction. It does not reflect your values. Then you want to be able to assess the impact of that goal. What is the potential impact? I feel like that's the biggest thing. You understand? Like at the end of the day, it is the outcome that matters. It is not how we get to the outcome. I'm sorry, but I have to just put it that right there. But again, when we are starting, we're like, okay, how you get to the outcome matters, but it is the end that speaks. And the end is the outcome. So what is the potential impact of each goal you are setting? Which of them will have the most significant impact on your life if you set them right now? You might be in a season of life where you have a lot of kids around you, or maybe you're even heavily pregnant, you're just starting pregnancy, and then you say you want to, maybe I don't even know what to say. I'm trying not to say the weirdest of things, but imagine pregnant woman, maybe like still in the first trimester, and you know how your body is in the first trimester, right? And you say, oh, I want to wake up by 4 o'clock every day, you understand, and I want to work for 12 hours to get this done. I mean, oh, are you kidding? It definitely will not happen because you know that pregnancy equates sleep, right? So waking up by 4 just sounds very ridiculous already. Then what is the feasibility and the resources? Do you actually have the time, the effort, and the resources required for you to be able to achieve this goal? You know, like meaning that, for example, you have kids. Do you have the time? Do you have the time to commit? Is this or can you actually delay a little till your kids are like 2, for example? Can you find other goals that could, I mean, that might not require so much effort and resources and time from you. You understand that? So that you can actually enjoy that season of life you're currently in. Even if you're a student, right? Just try to look around and be like, okay, maybe this is not the right time for this thing. Then how can you prioritize your goals? Can you actually prioritize them in a way that prioritize the goals for which you can readily mobilize necessary resources, meaning that do you have people you can call on, even if you cannot get things done by yourself? If you cannot mobilize them, please forget about it. But again, I would always like to say, don't shy away from ambitious goals. Only have a practical way to achieving them. And I believe that there is no goal we set as big as it is that we cannot break down. Sometimes your goal might take like 5 years to achieve, right? But it begins, so the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. It is that first step. You might not have to break it down to be like, okay, in the first 1 year, this is what I aim to do. These are the things I aim to have outcomes for. And then, but by the end of the 5th year, I should be able to look back and say that, all right, I have grown my follower base. I have a serviceable product and resources that can cater for my fan base, whatever it is, but just ensuring that you're not really overwhelming yourself in that manner. And then for those of us who are married or those of us who are probably living with people, you want to consult with your stakeholders. You don't want to set goals, particularly when these goals involve or impact other people. You don't want to just set goals individual and say that because I set this one, this is it. If you know that you cannot consult with stakeholders, then any goal that impacts them, please avoid setting them so that you don't give yourself heartache and heartburn. Understand their views when you consult with them. For example, a married couple might want to, they might want to set financial goals together. Yes, our husbands are stakeholders. You understand? So like if you're thinking about like financial goals, for example, and you're married, you know that your financial goals cannot stand alone. It cannot be only you setting these goals and be like, oh, I'm going to invest this amount of money. I'm going to do that. I mean, that would not be realistic because you're a team, right? So you want to, any goal that has to impact other people, you want to ensure that you consult with them. And of course, there has to be a ranking of priority. There has to be an order of priority. What is the most important? Even when I do my list every day, I kind of like to number them, put 1, put 2, put 3, meaning that even if I can't get to 3, at least I got 1 and 2 done, right? And again, just remembering that your priorities change. When I was in the season, when I had my kids, oh my God, it felt as if it was such a long time and things were not going to change. But I'm telling you that things change. The only constant thing in this world is change. So when things change, also you'll be very flexible to reassess your goal periodically. I was talking to, a very, very good mentor and friend, today. I think, that was like yesterday. And she was like, oh, you know what? Our son is going to be 1 year old by December. She was like, I woke up one morning in this December and I moved out the baby cot from the room. You understand? Our priorities are changed. And she realized it was time to start. She was like, I'm setting up that corner that the baby cot used to be. I'm turning it into a table and a chair for my office space. But she couldn't do that in 3 months when her baby was 3 months or 6 months. So you have to be able to reassess your goals and be flexible with them periodically. Then it goes beyond setting goals. So many of us stop at setting goals. We don't review them. We don't put deadlines to them and we don't adjust them regularly. You want to assign realistic deadlines. So I talked about the community I belong to, the professional community, the Shawaki Network. And there, right, we set goals and we have the task of submitting our goals every month. It's not compulsory, but you do yourself a disservice if you don't submit your goals, right? So, and she already set a realistic deadline. By the last Monday of the month, I want to receive your weekly report or your monthly report. Yeah, I think called monthly report, right? And by doing that, she's already like giving us a sense of urgency. So I know that when I'm setting my goals, whatever I'm doing, it has to be ready before the last Monday. If not, I'm probably going to stay up and, and start running up and down. And again, just remembering that life is dynamic, our priorities will change, but mostly whatever works for you. When I started setting my goals, I used to like do yearly. I was overwhelmed, burnout. That was because sometimes I just like set them and I look at the end of the day and be like, how? Why am I not achieving things? And I remember that, I also have this group of wonderful mentors when in my place of work back then. And every month, one of our big madams, she would say, oh, so you guys, I want you guys to drop your monthly goals, your career goals. She was all about career goals. Drop your career goals in the chat box and, or have you set it? But she always like remind us. And because she will remind us, that will also like make us to kind of like want to set these goals. So monthly might work for you, quarterly might work for you, but whatever you're doing, you have to review and you have to adjust regularly. I hope that is clear. Am I talking to myself? I hope I'm checking the chat box and I see no messages. I hope you guys are, following and getting the gist. And I'm sorry that this is taking time, but this is like one of the very most important things that we have to do. You don't just jump into goal setting. Okay, following. Thank you, Bisola. We are following. Thank you, Lulu. Thank you for all getting the gist, right? And don't just jump into goal setting, like into doing a vision board if you don't understand what you should put on those vision boards. And one thing I always love the most in my life is this particular table that talks about urgency and importance. I always love to talk about it because I believe that sometimes, right, as people, we kind of like forget. I don't know if it's that we forget, or we kind of like, when we say we have misplaced priorities, this is what it means. Misplaced priorities is just as simple as this. Urgency and importance. I don't know the book I saw this, but ever since I saw it, it has always resonated with me. So we have these quadrants, urgent and non-urgent, and we have not important and important. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so the things in this quadrant, right? This quadrant is important and urgent. The things in this quadrant, you want to do them. You want to do them. These are things that they have clear deadlines, that if you don't do them, they will carry consequences if you don't complete them. Things at your place of work. For example, here, this is for a teacher. And this for this person, lesson planning is urgent. If you don't plan your lessons, how are you going to teach your students, right? For not urgent, but important, the things that you want to schedule them, have a schedule for them. These tasks, they don't have a deadline, but when you have a schedule for them and you attend to them, they can help you to move closer to your goals every time. For example, what we fall into this quadrant might be professional development. You are working at your place of work, but you don't have goals set for your professional or career development. You're only working for people. You have to think about like, okay, in the next couple of years, where do I see myself, right? Or downtime and self-care. If you don't prioritize your self-care, if you don't learn how to switch off and zone out on some things, you understand, a time will come when you will have to push it into do it now, or somebody will have to force you to do it. But the things in this important and not urgent quadrants, you have to schedule them. The things that are urgent, but they are not important, delegate. Please let me hear you say delegate. Tell yourself, in this 2025, I will delegate. In this 2025, the Lord will provide funds for me to delegate in the name of Jesus. I say a big amen. The things that are urgent are not important. These are things that you have to get them done, but they don't require you to do them personally. Please, who knows one typical example as a mother or a wife? One typical example for me is going to the market. Going to the market. Do you literally have to be in the market? Ask yourself. Ask yourself now. Do you have to be in the market every time? Now, so shopping. Some things that you can send somebody, or cleaning the house. Thank you for starting. Cleaning the house is something you can delegate. You understand? Or buy new supplies. Some things that are so basic that you can give somebody else. Just delegate it to someone and be a blessing. But there you are. Yes, we seek power and funds to delegate. Thank you. So you don't have to do them personally, but as women, our hearts are very large, right? And we keep doing all these things, forgetting that when you don't delegate, you load your plate with too much, and then it hinders you from setting the goals that you have to, from achieving the goals you have set. Yes, Stephanie, Delegate, share my name with your full chest. It is well with us all. We all struggle sometimes with this delegation. We want to say, if I'm not there, things will not work. That's not the example of leadership that Jesus Christ showed us in the Bible. Let's not even go to the Bible right now. Now, the things that are not important and they are not urgent, these are tasks. They don't add any benefit or value to you. But you know what they do? They just distract you from setting your goals. Binge watching TV. Binge watching TV, gossip. So gist every time. There's always gist on the table. Season movies, thank you. We know those things that you have to delete. You have to tell. I know it says cooking too much or cooking to self. I don't understand what that means, but some things you have to delete. You will tell yourself this year, Lord, the things are not urgent, are not important. I will delete them from my list. I'm not going to put them on my list. I mean, must you respond to every messages that come into your phone immediately? We receive the grace to delete. So remember, you schedule, delegate, and delete. Do you know what? Someone says, please leave TV out of this table. Okay. I mean, Tosin says, leave TV out of this table. I'm not saying we have to entirely leave them out. There are times we know that we have achieved things, and that is just one way we have to, chillax and unwind. But when you have not done anything, and you put TV on the list, and you put social media on the list, my dear sisters and brothers, we are shooting ourselves in the leg. We have to tell ourselves the truth that there is a time for TV, there is a time for no TV. You understand? There's a time for social media, there's a time for no social media. I know someone here who for some time will just go offline social media, very big madam. 1 week, she's out. She says, I have things to do. The Lord says I should do something. And she's out. And nobody will die. And they will just look for her, but she will still come back again. So we have to just understand that there are some things that are priority, because if we keep loading our lives with the things we should delete every year in, year out, we'll keep realizing that we have not moved an inch from the goal we are setting. And you know what? Our God we serve is a very patient God, though. When you are ready, He's also available for you, right? So this quadrant works all the time. I think it's something that everybody should have somewhere close to them, just always constantly remembering. And who knows the best quadrant to be in part-time? Who knows the best quadrant to be in part-time? I want to see that in the chat box. The best quadrant out of this 4 to be in part-time, that will allow you, it's like you see some people, it just seems like their life is just on a very soft life kind of thing, they're not like running up and down, losing their cool. They're just like, they're just achieving things on the low key. They don't talk too much, but they're getting things done. They're ticking things off their list. Nobody knows that quadrant. I'll tell you, the best quadrant to belong to. It's a soft life quadrant. No, sister, no. The best quadrant to, thank you. Yano says important but not urgent. So thank you, not urgent and important. Exactly. This is the best quadrant to belong to, to be in part-time. When you schedule things, you don't have to wait till tomorrow. I know that some people work under pressure, you can wait till tomorrow's deadline. But the truth is that you will not put in the best you should have put in if you wait till the deadline to submit something. See, there is no arguing about that. So it means that if you want to do something, I'm about to schedule like 30 minutes every day, 30 minutes or 30 minutes 3 times a day, or 30 minutes 3 times a week. You understand? To say that I'm not going to wait until this thing is urgent, but I'm going to just schedule it, put it on my list to say, okay, these things I have to get to them. I will schedule and I will do them at the allotted time I have already marked out for them. So I hope that this just helps us in understanding our priorities. I think it's a blessing if we truly can, just walk around them. So we have identified and managed our priorities. There's no need asking us questions about that. I'm just going to jump into vision board. This was the vision board. This is me right here. Just ignore all the things you see. But this was the vision board I had for myself in 2024. The type I did was one that was embedded in my planner. Yeah, I had a yearly planner. And I just like, okay, what's in my planner is most times always with me, or even if it's not always with me, I don't usually carry my planner out, but I will always like schedule things into my planner, and then I have a small book that I usually like take out. But I usually all the time always look through my planner every day So I'm like, well, if I'm going to look to my planner every day, I could just as well just do my vision board in it. So when you do a vision board, so we moved from goal setting into vision boarding, right? It's just a very powerful visualization tool. It helps you to be able to see things. You can create, you can actually, there's so many ways you can get your vision board done. But one thing that I believe that it does is that it helps us to see. When we see it, because when we see it, we're able to believe it and we're able to achieve it, right? But if we don't see it, where's going to be the reminder that, oh, there is something that you should believe in? So this serves as a tangible representation of the things that you want to achieve. My board, I put so many things in this board, right? When I did it then, most of the things, yes, I was able to achieve. Some things I had not even started them at the time I was making this board, but because I made it, it just kind of, I believe that the Lord just kind of like started pushing me towards some of those things. And so I think here I had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had 8 areas of interest. You don't have to do all the areas of interest, but just working with what works for you. So I'm asking us, how familiar are you with vision boarding? This is an example of what we are going to do. I did this with some powerful women, a couple of weeks ago, and you see them getting into action, just like coloring and putting down their vision board. How familiar are you with vision board? Is this something you think you would consider? Is this something you've done before? Is this something that you don't think will work for you? I mean, just the idea of what I talked about vision board meaning. I want to see your responses in the chat box so that we can move quickly and start writing all these things that the Lord is laying upon our hearts to do. Okay, Lulu says never done it before. Thank you so much, Lulu. Anybody ever looking forward to this? Amazing, amazing. Yeah. Any other person, our family, I haven't done it before, Bisola. Thank you so much. And I'm sure that she's also looking forward to this one. Many of us, so it means that I don't know what every other person has, but it shows that we have some people who have never done it before. Aliano says, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. It can be as complex as you want it to be, and it can be as simple as you also want it to be. Adedoyin says, I've never done it before. All I do is write a plan for the year in the book. All right, Adedoyin, thank you for sharing. Oh, Luatosin suddenly says, I do it in my head. Our head gang. Thank you for that. All right, so we're just going to move right into it. And I believe that as I've been talking to you, you probably are already getting some benefits of using a vision board, even if you've never done it before. I want you to know that when you do a vision board, it gives you clarity. Yes, I also used to write it 1 year at a time before. There was a time it used to be in my head, right? And these are things that honestly, Adela said, did it this year? It worked. Woo, that's my partner who took this class with me the last time. Yes, it worked. Never done it before. And Monique said, I've done it some few weeks ago with Dr. T. Thank you, Monique. Monique, yes, I have your picture here. So when you do it, the truth is that it gives you a lot of clarity and it helps you to concentrate on the things that matter the most to you. It motivates you. I'm telling you guys, like there's this inspiration that comes from having a vision board, either digital or traditional or whatever form it is. Then it can enhance your visualization. It means that you see it, you believe it, and you can achieve it. It also gives you a lot of focus because at that point in time, before you take on things, you first think in your mind, how does this align to my goals in the year? It allows you to be able to say a solid and respectful no when things are not aligning. It also boosts your positivity. It boosts your mood and a positive outlook that people will look at. They just wonder, why is this person shining like this? Like, because you are smashing your goals. You're a daughter of Zion, a son of Zion, smashing your goals. That's what having a vision board does for us. Yes, that's Monique right there. I purposely chose this blood one. Excuse me, I'm Monique.
Can we share one biscuit with you?
Go, yeah, go, thank you.
Can we share one biscuit?
Yes, please, thank you. Let me close my door. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. All right, there are so many examples of vision boards, right? It could be traditional, this is like the regular one that Monique has right here, and I also did in my yearly planner. You can put it somewhere in a visible location for daily inspiration. Like I've heard people that they say they go to their vision board, they go like, Lord, they will scabash into it and say, things are aligning, things are aligning. And it could be digital. I have a mentor then that, I don't know if she still does it, but she used to have a vision board as a phone wallpaper, So every time she picks up her phone, she's seeing it as it should be, and there are so many digital tools that you can use, like Canva, Pinterest, or Photoshop. You just keep it as your desktop wallpaper or screensaver, particularly if you're someone who's like always on your gadgets, right? Or even a digital journal entry. And then it could be themed. This themed will make a lot of sense. I'm looking forward to the day I will do this themed, like, meaning that you have different vision boards, right? You have one for career. This is going to be too detailed, right? But just having each area of interest on a board and you're like writing it down. Father Lord. Okay. What do we need? We already like mentioned, and I think everybody who got the link to this already knows some of the things we need. For what I did for my own vision board, right here, the one I had in 2024, I got some newspapers. I cut out things, things that will remind me, like symbols of the things I want to do for that year. You see somewhere up there that I put like a lady in a spa, like meaning I want to take rest. I want to have soft life. You see hands that are praying. I clipped something that was like daily prayer. You see, like I just put a lot of things, celebration, eating healthy meals. I put all these pictures that will remind me. I think I even put like subscription for YouTube channel, coach. I just like clip a lot of things. So, but I know that not all of us are able to like get all of these magazines to clip. But I believe that as we grow and we expand in doing our vision board, the time will come when you'll be sitting down with your kids, sitting down with your family to also like clip some of these things and like, have a very nice and fanciful vision board. And here you see Monique's own. Monique's vision board here. I just decided to just like blur it because of course it's personal, right? Here she just used like sticky notes, which is similar to what we're going to be doing today. We have our cardboards. I believe everybody came with their cardboards. Mine is right here, still folded. And then we have all our sticky notes and our markers, and we can just like do different areas of interest, right? You can make yours smaller depending on what you want, You can make like 3 or 4 areas of interest, maybe on the first row, and then just like put these sticky notes, just color it up so that whenever you look at it, it's not dull. It's kind of like enticing. You want to go closer and just like, I want to look at what I even wrote here, that kind of thing. So this is what Monique did, and you can see the joy on her face, right, for doing this, and I can imagine that's the same joy that we're going to have today. So I want you to, now that we already have our notebooks, we're going into the exercise itself. Usually what I do is that I first set those clear goals, meaning that I go right into, I kind of like just put, I have a book and I put like spiritual here, financial here, I open the pages so that I can keep the flow. I just don't want to limit myself to, okay, 3 lines, You could be in the shower one day and an idea pops up into your mind. You want to have space, you understand? You want to have chance to be able to write more things into that thing. So you want to set clear goals first. You want to, and that's why I told you that for today, we're going to start with like 3 areas of interest. You want to collect materials if you are someone who can like get all those clippings and words that remind you of what you want to see. We're going to have a quiet space right here after I stop sharing my screen, and then you will have a layout before fixing it, and you can be as creative as you can get. When you are doing your vision board, you want to include your short-term goals and your long-term goals. I think I talked about like you could have vision board for, you could have goals for 5 years. You could even have goals for 1 month. You could have goals for quarterly, and you could have it for like a year. But ensure that whatever you are setting, there's like a short-term goal and there are long-term goals. And then when we are done, we want to place it strategically somewhere, like I'll probably like pin it on my wardrobe so that I can always continue to see it every morning. Of course, I have to pick out clothes in my wardrobe. So before I pick out my clothes, I can scabash on my vision board, look at my vision board, and get excited for what the Lord is said to do. And then you have to update it regularly. When you get something done, you can, put a bit of mark or color or just like, got it done on this date, date it, time stamp it, whatever you want to do. Just let it be known that I have gotten this done. Okay, so this is what we have, similar to what we saw Monique had. we're going to get started, and we have like maybe like 30 minutes to do all of this. And afterwards, I can complete the later end of the presentation. So I'm going to pause my recording right now, and so that we can have like a more informal session where everybody, we don't have to record when we're asking questions or when we are, saying things that, we want to put our hands on deck and put our hands in the mud right now. So I'm just going to pause the recording. All right. So thank you so much for listening. I still have some slides at the tail end, but that's for after we are done with this business of the day. Okay. All right. Please, can you display the materials needed once again? Okay, Adibene, I can do that. Can anyone help with the list of materials? Adibene is right here. This is the list of materials. It doesn't have to be only this, but we are going to get started. We're going to have a quiet time, If you have questions, I'll be monitoring the chat box for questions. You can also unmute yourself and ask your questions. Remember that we want to leave here with at least, we've written down things for three areas of interest. We have identified 3 areas of interest, right? So who is excited to get started? And even if you don't have all these materials now, it does not stop you from writing down these things right now. This is the space we need. All you need is just a book, right? As I mentioned, in your book, put in the different areas of interest. Where is the one that I'm doing? Put in the different areas of interest, and then, put in the different areas of interest, and then, itemize what you want to get done under each of those areas. And when you're putting them in your vision board, you can just like summarize it, like, for example, you want to say, I'm so sorry. All right. So we just talked about we just set our goals. We talked about all of these goal setting things. I was so excited that there's a lot of light in the room. And I want to say that, I think it was Lou that said something about like, it's not remaining how to smash those goals. I want to tell you, my dear people, my dear community here, that you need accountability and community support to be able to smash these goals, because life will throw lemons at us. And the truth is that by ourselves alone, it might be hard to make those lemonades, right? Or make lemonades consistently. Sometimes you just need people to just shake us up and say, girl, you said you're going to do this thing. What is going on? Why are you getting slack? You know that? So it's very important to have some form of right accountability partner. Someone that truly shares and understands your aspiration. You can't just go off in the street and be saying, oh, you want to be my accountability partner? Do you want to know somebody whose vision is also aligned? I mean, like-minded people, that they will not say, what are you people even doing? What exactly? Please, I beg, if Jesus comes today, what used to be me? If Jesus comes today now, where would these goals take you to? You don't want to have this kind of people. You want people that can also provide constructive feedback. And you also want to be someone who is also very willing and ready to accept feedbacks. Then, with that accountability partnership, you want to set clear expectations. I mean, on this call, I've had people that they've been my accountability partners for a while. I can't start mentioning their names, but there are people here that we meet every month, right? They know we meet every month. There are some that we meet. Yeah, some people will meet twice in a month. I mean, like, to just be able to hold ourselves accountable. It's also important to like set clear expectations. Okay, so what's our expectation on our agreement? What's the frequency of our check-in? Is it going to be weekly, which might be too much? Is it going to be monthly? Is it going to be like, what way are we going to be communicating? Is it by just write it out? I know that some of the people that I mix with, we usually like have this template sheets that, we put all these goals in there, and you don't have to come share your sheet with us, but you just need to like bring out the salient points and just like type on the chat box, in the group to like just list it out and say, oh, this month, nothing too serious, just like, oh, this month, it depends on the kind of accountability pattern that you have. There can be different types. But for this particular set of people, for the very first set, we just like write it out. And then every month we do a once in a month meeting. And we're like, also tell us, give us feedback about the goals. How did you smash your goals last month? And, and because we are put it on the group chat, right? If you don't do something you said you were going to do, we'll be like, excuse me, wait, hold up. You put that in your chat, this like you're going to do X, Y, Z. You have not done it. What happened? We're like trying to say, we are seeing what you are doing, and you said you can do better. You understand that kind of thing? So definitely, okay, I'm trying to check if I missed any in chat box. The one I did for this year, I'm already touching 60%. Okay, doing, that's great to hear. And then you also have to be very open. There has to be some form of openness. You can't just say, please hold me accountable to my spiritual goals. I'm like, what are you trying to say? What exactly are spiritual goals? You know, you have to be able to share. You may not be able to like share everything in details, but like pick out some things to share so that you can receive support from them. You should be able to tell them why this matters to me, and these are the plans I take. I mean, whenever we meet, sometimes we're there for 2 hours, even more than. So I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You know, so there was a particular person I met with that our very first meeting, we're there for like 3 hours, just talking about, you know, so tell me about yourself. What is, you know, what are you looking forward to in this accountability thing that we are doing? You know, what do you want, where do you want me to hold you accountable? And we're just typing and keeping all these records, not just because talk can be very cheap. So you want to talk and do, right? And you also want to have people that can do the same for you. I'm going to ask you a question. What support preferences do you usually do when it comes to, or would you prefer like an accountability, or you're like, I'm fine by myself. I mean, some people are really that great that they don't need support. I mean, like, they are so, I don't know if I should call it discipline, but so focused that when they say they want to do something, they can't stick to it. Come rain, come sunshine. I know some people here, I'm waiting for them to put it in the chat box, right? But what kind of support preferences would you prefer when it comes to setting your goals? Or when it comes to, okay, someone said I prefer accountability, Louis said I prefer accountability. Perfect. That person that doesn't like accountability, put it in the chat box because I know you. Accountability. No, the previous slide just talks about expectation, accountability, and community support. You know, would you like accountability, or you're like, I can do it by myself, you know, I'm fine by myself. I can get things done. But I see like many people, Tolu also said that she loves accountability, and doing says accountability. All right. So for those of us that love accountability, then do you have accountability right now? Do you have accountability right now? Not just the friends that you just call and just be talking, but those that they are, you know, they're constantly adding value to your life, and they're like, you talk to them, you're like, you're on fire. I can't sleep this night because I have to pray, or I have to go checklist my goals or something, you know, that kind of thing. Those are the kind of people that we want around us, to be very honest. Okay. Now, there will definitely be some challenges when it comes to overcoming our, to setting our goals, you know. I even said, although I did not have it before, I tried it alone, it was a big challenge. Thank you for, you know, thank you for that honesty. I 100% can relate. I mean, like, when I started on my goal setting, you know, years ago, it used to be just me with myself, myself, and I, the three of us, right? And I'll set these things, but because I didn't have people to hold me accountable, I'll just say, well, I can't come and kill myself. At least I've done something. I still have the discipline to get things done, but the times I have had accountability, they have pushed me further. Like I've been like, I'm reporting to these people, you know, I'm submitting my progress report. And because of that, I have to sit up and, you know, start saying at the end of the month, I don't want to come and start, you know, saying things that do not correlate, you know, that kind of thing. So thank you for sharing that. I want you to know that there can be possible challenges, and it's important that you acknowledge their existence. What do I mean by that? For example, you might have like an health challenge sometime in the year, you understand? Or you might be, or somebody might be pregnant, right? Or you may have a baby, you understand that? Or so many things could happen, or someone could lose their job, right? Anticipate that there could be potential challenges and prepare your mind for them. So that you not just say, because this thing has happened, well, everything like that is just, that's the end of it. You can still review and, you know, reassess your goals and switch things around, even when challenges present themselves, right? Then when you anticipate those challenges, you can incorporate solutions. For example, if you notice that, I've talked to someone today, if you notice that like time management is a concern, where you work, they seem to steal your time in one way or another, right? You might want to like, okay, put a picture on your maybe wallpaper or something, or on a vision board to remind you that today, time management is key. You know, every time I look at this picture, I remember that I have to manage my time. I cannot just be using my time for things that are not productive. You get, that's like a potential solution, right? And it could be anything. It could be, okay, when I sense, for me, for example, when I sense anxiety or I sense worry or fear creeping in, I could just, my own default mode is, my default mode all the time is like, find my meditation app, you know, listen to the word of God, or just speak in tongues. You get that? So that's my solution to say that I know that there will be times like I will be, hope deferred can make the heart grow weary. But how can I prepare when it happens? How can I, and as by doing that, you're actually like building mental stamina. Or is there a friend that can reach out to say, girl, something is happening, there is fire on the mountain, you know, to say, I know that someone here put my name as accountability partner or something she was going to submit. And she's like, your name is already there, so that if I'm not doing what I should be doing, you know, you have to hold me accountable. You get that kind of thing. And also, some people like to use inspirational quotes because words have power. And when you use some of these words, they can remind you, for example, I think I put something about say it, believe it, achieve it. You get that? Anything that can spice up your motivation, please have them around you. And then, just mentally rehearsing, which is something I talked about, like mentally rehearsing how you are going to overcome these challenges. You know, like, for example, not letting things just meet you and be like, I mean, build your shock absorbing mechanism so that every little thing does not just throw you off balance. Okay, if I get pregnant in 2025, what else can I get done? You get that? Does it mean that I'm going through my whole life is just over like that? Or what else can I do? You know, what if just anticipate and virtualize whatever way that you think you're going to solve those challenges? Okay. Then you also have to maintain your vision board. It's not just about being a vision board for a whole year and just leaving it there and saying for a whole year, this is what I'll be looking at. Some people like to do their vision board for like every quarter. So that they do like, they set the goals from January to March, April, right? And they set another one for another 4 months so that they can take off the old and put in the new. I think that's what I'm going to do this time around, because I'm like, the year is too loaded for me to put everything I want to put into it in 2025 on one what's it called? One cardboard. So do regular reviews. Monthly review might be great for you. Weekly review might be great for you. Whatever works for you, just make sure that you are reviewing your vision board. You don't just leave it there to accumulate dust. Go back to it. When you go back to it, reflect, adjust, and strategize. What's working? Okay, what has worked? For example, there are so many examples I'll put in the chat box. Someone says, I want to be, I think Sean said something about, I want to find the time to be able to read my Bible or pray something, have my quiet time in the morning or in the evening. Morning and evening. So maybe you are doing only morning and evening is not working. So it's not working. Is there any point, you know, is this still something you want to keep on your board? Or do you want to just adjust and be like, okay, maybe I can spread it out, you know, take like during my break time at work, do like 10 minutes on YouVersion or 15 minutes on YouVersion. I know that I've done something, you know, just having that reflection and adjustment is really key. And hey, people, celebrate your achievements. When you smash it, go celebrate it. Me, minimalist. Every month when I smash my goals, I know somewhere where I go for shawarma and I buy like the Chivita juice and I sit down. Some people have met me doing this before this call, you know, and I'll just say like, I'm celebrating myself. I worked hard last month. Do you know the things I got done? Do you want to see my spreadsheet? You know, like I'm even speaking to myself. I did a lot. I have to celebrate. It could be taking yourself out, having a sauna or spa session, you know, just whatever works for you within your budget, right? Yes, because remember, you also have to set financial goals. I'm also a financial coach, so you know, I cannot tell you to do things that will bust your budget, right? But it's important that we celebrate because you are letting your brain know, you're letting it, as in you're releasing good hormones into your system to say, you are working, you can do better. You can even be like, okay, I have a shoe I want to buy, you know, I have a dress I'm targeting. Just have a way of celebrating. And then incorporate feedback from your accountability partner. Be open to feedbacks. Like, that's one thing. Like, I mean, that's one thing I love the most. When we're able to come together and say, okay, were you able to do what you were going to do? Okay, well, this is what I think. I'll always like give them and be like, when somebody talks and be like, okay, I'm going to suggest this. Have you tried this? Even for the group, for the Shanklin Network, where I submit my monthly report, the founder of the group will always like send me like a report, send me a message, but an email response every time to be like, okay, I think we can actually do this. And sometimes she gives me amazing feedback. I'm like, oh, that's true. This could work. So be very open to feedback from your partners, and you can use it to refine and update your vision board. Then keep your vision board visible. Don't hide it under the bookshelf. Don't put it somewhere. Like put it somewhere where you can. You will always see. For me, the wardrobe door is like the best place because there's no person who doesn't go to the wardrobe every day. Put it where you can see it. If you have a bathroom and you don't do too much steaming, on your closet, whatever works for you, you can always use that to maintain your vision board. And just in closing, I think I just wanted to like really hammer in on this celebrating your achievements, that you have to recognize that it took a lot of dedication and discipline to reach your goal. Acknowledge yourself, be brag in the Lord, boast in the Lord. Tell people like, see, the Lord walked through me to do so, and so. Share your success with those that, they are like-minded friends, family, or colleagues that have supported you all the way. I know there's someone here that I think I was doing like this 6 months reflection for myself like a couple of days ago, and I kind of like journaled a lot of things, and I was like, oh, I want to share this with you, and I shared it with that person. So I'm like, oh wow, this is nice to read. Like this is very interesting to read. Sometimes I want to share my achievements. Just say these are the things I got done in 6 months. I told the Lord, I asked the Lord to say, Lord, in 6 months you have to prove yourself, and the Lord went above and beyond in my life. That kind of thing. Then reflect on your journey. That's where journaling comes in. Because when I go through the journals I've written down in 2017, 2014, 2012, I'll be like, God, Tolu, mistakes must not happen again. I put things there to remind my future self, to be like, this is working, this is not working, just not just by passing through life and not leaving any mark on life. You understand that? So reflect on your journey, be reflective people, reward yourself. You could have a vacation. Some of us are planning Santorini and Dubai trip by the special grace of God in Jesus' name, where we're going to be doing vision boarding in person, right? Cook your favorite meal, gift yourself something, take a break. There was one of my mentors told me, you need a mental break. Just take a week off. And honestly, taking that week off really helped me to recharge and prevent burnout. Then give back. You see what we are doing here? It's so easy to say, oh, let me just stick to my goals. Let me just do my own thing. When you know that you have mastered something, you don't even have to master, like you've been able to. When you teach others, it also comes back to you. So consider using your success as an opportunity to give back. When you document your achievements, you record them, share it with people. Tell them, do you know that this is how you can do this? Do you know that this thing is achievable? Do you know that there is nothing that can hinder you when you set goals for yourself? Share books, share things that can help them. Just constantly be doing what? Be giving back. Don't be a dead sea. And common mistakes that we always find, which we talked about already, is that some people could be too vague. I think I've mentioned that. Don't be vague. Don't say, I want to read my Bible. I want to read my Bible in a year. Or no, that's a bit too vague. Your vision board must have action. In fact, whenever we have meetings, there has to be actionable next steps. It shouldn't just be like a trap of wishful list that are like, okay, I wish I can do this. Not just that when we're teenagers, people like, oh, I wish. Please take away all the wishes. If wishes were something, there's a way they say it, horses would have been doing something, beggars would have been riding on horses, right? So it is not a wishful list, it's an actionable plan. Whenever you go for your church program, if it's possible, carry your vision board, a small version of it, pray on it and say, God, I have this plan, show me how. When I was in my PhD then, I had to take my 2 topics to camp, to go and pray to God, to be like, I am at a crossroad. Show me the way. Help me. Show me how to go forward. But if I would just say, Father, just come down and do something, that's not going to work. So actionable next steps. Remember that faith without works is dead. Then mistakes of not updating your board, it can become stale. Every time you're looking at it, and that's why for me, I'll be like, you could do like a 4-month board, a 6-month board, or if you want to be a 1-year board, that's fine. You understand? But regularly update it. When you hide your vision board, it's like you're hiding yourself. Make your vision board visible. Let everybody in the house know. Even for my kids, when they have whenever we do their schedule together, I put it on their door. I pin it on their door so that I'll be like, when they come and ask me, Mommy, what's up? Like, go and check your schedule. You have holiday schedule, right? And you have non-holiday schedule. Which one are we running now? Okay, go right there and check what you should be doing by 4 to 6. You come and go, okay, Mommy, yeah, 4 to 6 is nap time. Like, yeah, then go now. You get. So do not hide your vision board. Put it where it is visible. Then don't overcrowd it. I think I mentioned that whenever, for example, when you set those goals, summarize them and put them there, but you still have your list with you. You understand that you still have a place where you have written all these things down, but you still have to summarize so that it's not too crowded. Then please, while it is good to set big, audacious goals, don't set unrealistic goals. Don't set unrealistic. You know that you are pregnant 9 months in a year, and then you set goals that it even takes somebody that's not pregnant 2 years to accomplish. You understand that? So you get frustrated when you set unrealistic goals. And I just want to thank everybody for attending tonight. I mean, thank you for your time. Thank you for taking all the effort. This is me looking. You say, as far as your eyes can take you, right? The Lord has given it to you. So I look ahead. You know, we look ahead. We don't let anything hinder us. That was what the Lord even said unto the said in the Bible, says, stand there, look as far as your eyes can see. Even told Abraham, look to the skies. Can you count the stars? As far, that's how your seed will be. Feel free to contact me if you have anything to, you know, you want to run some ideas by me, or you want to, you know, just have something. I run an academy for young people, definitely, where we're going to like be doing all of these things, monthly, bi-weekly progress reports, monthly workshops, a lot of other things we're going to be doing. And if it's an academy you need, you can definitely still reach out and I'll provide you with more information. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you got the best out of this session in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay.